Let it be easy. Let it be easy, a deep Zen story for inner peace and relaxation. In a remote and ancient valley, where the mountains stood like timeless guardians, a gentle wind stirred the pines and made the fallen leaves dance. A nearby river whispered a constant, serene song that accompanied the days and nights with its slow, steady rhythm. There, in a small temple made of wood and paper, lived a young monk named Kaito. Kaito had arrived at the temple only a few months earlier, carrying in his heart the weight of many doubts and an endless desire for answers. His mind, restless like a bird trapped in a cage, pushed him to fight everything, to overcome every obstacle, to conquer every hardship as if his life depended on it. He kept telling himself that the spiritual path could only open through struggle and suffering, through constant, relentless effort. From sunrise to sunset, he swept the courtyards with force, meditated with furrowed brows, trying to force stillness, and pushed himself in every task. But by the end of the day, his heart was tired, and his mind even more clouded than before. One morning, as the sky was still painted with shades of orange and violet, and the mist embraced the distant mountains, Kaito approached the temple garden. There sat Master Ryu, an elderly man with deep eyes. So still and serene, he seemed to be part of the landscape itself, in perfect harmony with the whispering wind and the rustling leaves. Kaito, his body tense and voice heavy with frustration, sat beside him and said, "Master Ryu, I've worked so hard. I fight with every thought and every action. But life feels like a weight crushing me, a chain I can't break. I want to move forward on this path, but everything feels so difficult, so full of struggle. How can I find peace in the midst of all this?" Master Ryu smiled gently, and with a soft gesture, pointed to a small stream that flowed nearby, glistening under the first rays of sunlight. "Look at the water, Kaito," he said in a calm voice. "Watch how the stream moves between the stones, without fighting them, without trying to change or avoid them. There is no struggle in its flow. It simply follows the path nature offers, adapting to each curve, each drop." Kaito looked at the water jumping between rocks, clear, fresh, caressing the stones without resistance. But he didn't understand how this could help him. "But Master," he replied, "I'm not water. My path is different. Life is full of difficulty, and if I don't fight, if I don't push myself, I won't get anywhere." Ryu remained silent for a moment. Then he lifted his hand and let a handful of earth fall slowly from his palm. The dust floated for a moment, light, free, unhurried, and gently settled on the ground. "Do you see?" he asked. "Nature doesn't force anything. Everything happens when it's meant to. There's no struggle, only surrender. Let it be easy, Kaito. Don't fight life. Don't fight yourself. Learn to flow, to let go of control, to trust." Kaito felt a storm of emotions, confusion, resistance, but also an unexpected calm slowly settling in his chest. For the first time, he walked over to the stream and sat by its edge, not trying to change anything, just watching the steady flow of the water, the gentle ebb and flow of the current. The sun rose slowly, and the shadows faded. The sound of the water grew clearer, more present, like a silent mantra inviting the mind to rest. And so, for the first time, Kaito tried to let it be easy. Kaito sat by the stream, legs crossed on the cool earth, feeling the dampness of the morning dew caress his skin. He slowly closed his eyes, breathing in the crisp, clean air of the valley, filled with the scent of pine and wet soil. At first, his mind resisted, wanting to run, to plan, to control the moment. But breath by breath, he began to let go of that urge, allowing silence to settle gently inside him. The water flowed softly and steadily, breaking into tiny ripples over the smooth stones. Unhurried, effortless. It was as if life itself whispered through the stream, "Let it be easy. Let it unfold." Hours passed, and Kaito remained still. He watched the clouds draw shifting shapes in the sky, the sun changing its light, and the world spinning in infinite serenity. In that stillness, he realized something simple and deep. All his struggle and constant striving had only brought tension and fatigue. True strength, he now saw, came from surrender, from trust, and from letting go. He returned to the temple with a fresh feeling inside him, as if a cool breeze had swept through his heart. Master Ryu was waiting at the entrance. "What did you learn today?" he asked, smiling. Kaito replied without hesitation, "I learned that I don't need to force the path or fight the current. I can let things be easy, let them flow like water without resistance." Ryu nodded and said, "Life is simpler than we believe. The human mind complicates what is already simple. Learn to trust the nature of things. Allow yourself to be like the stream, gentle yet steady. That way the path opens, and you won't even need to push." That night, as the stars lit up the dark sky, Kaito lay down with a lighter heart, knowing now that letting it be easy wasn't giving up. It was choosing to embrace life with trust and without fear. In the days that followed, Kaito began to live in a new way. He no longer woke with the anxious urge to fight inner battles. Instead, he breathed slowly, fully present in each moment. Every daily task, from washing bowls to tending the garden, was done with gentleness, without haste. One afternoon, as he swept dry leaves from the courtyard, he noticed a golden leaf slowly falling from a nearby tree. Instead of trying to catch it or sweep it away, he simply let it fall, watching as the wind guided it gently to the ground. Master Ryu, walking nearby, smiled and said, "When you learn to let things be easy, even the smallest leaf becomes a teacher. Look how nature does not force itself, does not strain. It simply is." Kaito nodded with humility. He began to see clearly that relentless effort did not bring him clarity, but confusion, and that when he let life flow, his mind became lighter, his heart more open. In the stillness of the temple, between the scent of incense and the soft whisper of wind, Kaito learned to observe his thoughts without clinging to them. Like passing clouds, he let them come and go. He didn't judge them. He didn't try to stop them. He simply allowed them to move on. In those quiet moments, he understood. The true path is not in resistance or struggle, but in acceptance and flow. Just like the stream that doesn't fight the rocks but flows around them, he too could move forward without exhausting himself in battle. The entire valley seemed to whisper that lesson to him. The bamboo bent in the wind without breaking. The mountains stood firm, yet never forced their presence. And the river kept singing its eternal song, inviting anyone who would listen to let it all be a little easier. Dawn arrived slowly and silently, like a held breath dissolving into the cold air of the valley. Kaito woke before the first ray of sunlight touched the mountain peaks, his breath still in rhythm with the slow, quiet pulse of the awakening world. The sky, painted in soft shades of pale blue and gray, looked like a blank canvas, untouched by the coming day. He stepped out of his small tatami room and walked barefoot through the temple garden. The damp earth and dew-kissed leaves gently touched his feet, and the fresh scent of pine and wet soil filled his senses. In the stillness, Kaito sat upon a smooth stone, cold yet comforting, and crossed his legs into lotus posture. His breath grew slower, deeper, more conscious. At first, his mind, as always, tried to fill the space with its usual concerns. How can I progress in my practice? How do I overcome these obstacles? But this time, instead of resisting the thoughts, Kaito simply watched them pass, like drifting clouds crossing a clear sky. He didn't cling to them, nor did he push them away. He just let them go one by one, effortlessly. The whispering wind through the pines, the distant bird's song, and the soft murmur of the nearby stream wrapped around him like an invisible blanket of peace. For the first time in a long while, Kaito felt there was nothing to control, nothing to fix. Only this, to be, simply to be. He recalled Master Ryu's gentle words. Let it be easy, not as a command, but as an invitation to release the soul's tight grip, to let the current of life carry him without resistance. Then, in the calm of that moment, he opened his eyes and saw a white butterfly dancing lightly among the wildflowers. Its flight was effortless, graceful, a delicate dance, a pure expression of freedom. In that instant, Kaito felt that the butterfly was teaching him something essential, that true strength lies in gentleness, in deep acceptance, in the art of surrendering without losing one's essence. He stood slowly, every muscle relaxed, and walked back to the temple with soft steps, as if the earth itself welcomed him tenderly. Sunlight had begun to bathe the valley, caressing the mountains, the garden, and the temple with a warm and serene glow. From that day on, Kaito knew he could walk through life with a lighter heart, with less resistance in his mind. That letting things be easy was not weakness, but the awakening to true inner freedom. As the weeks passed, Kaito began to experience a subtle but profound transformation. The constant struggle that had accompanied him for so long gradually gave way to a serenity that no longer needed to be explained. One afternoon, as the sun sank slowly toward the horizon, painting the sky with golden and rose-colored hues, Kaito walked into the forest near the temple. He moved gently, feeling the dry leaves crunch beneath his feet and the cool air brushing against his face through the trees. In a small clearing, he found an old oak tree, strong and majestic, its roots anchored deeply in the earth. He sat beneath its shade and closed his eyes, allowing the stillness of the forest to seep into his being. He thought about all the times he had tried to force his way forward, the nights when anxiety stole his sleep, and the inner voice that demanded he always be strong, no matter the cost. Now, he understood that such strength was not true strength. The oak tree didn't struggle to grow. It didn't fight the wind or resist the rain. It simply stood firm, allowing life to move through it, adapting and flowing with the changing seasons. Kaito smiled quietly and took a deep breath, feeling gratitude swell in his chest like warm light. When he returned to the temple, he found Master Ryu meditating beneath the soft glow of the setting sun. "Have you understood now, Kaito?" the master asked without opening his eyes. "Yes, master," Kaito replied. "I've learned that true strength lies in softness, in acceptance, in letting things be easy without fighting against them." Ryu nodded with a knowing smile. "Then you walk the right path. Always remember, life is a river, not a stone you must push. Flow with it, and you will find peace." That night, Kaito slept deeply, his heart light, like someone who has finally set down a great burden. As autumn arrived, the valley dressed itself in warm colors, reds, oranges, and yellows dancing gently on the tree branches. Kaito felt how these changes in nature echoed within him, as anxiety and tension slowly began to dissolve. One morning, while gathering fallen leaves in the temple garden, he noticed a small turtle walking slowly across the damp earth. Without hurry or concern, it moved forward with patience, unbothered by speed or destination. Kaito paused to watch it, feeling a quiet, profound lesson in its gentle, steady pace. Later, when he returned to the meditation hall, he asked, "Master, how can I learn to be like that turtle? How can I find the patience to let everything be easy?" Ryu smiled softly and replied, Patience is not about waiting. It is about trusting the natural timing of things. The turtle is not concerned with arriving quickly because it knows the path will unfold when the time is right. That afternoon, Kaito meditated longer than usual. He tried to feel that deep patience, that serene trust in the unfolding of life. In his mind, images appeared: still waters, trees swaying with the wind without breaking, paths that opened slowly beneath his feet. He realized that letting it be easy does not mean giving up or being passive. It means active acceptance, a wholehearted trust in life's natural flow. As night fell and stars filled the sky, Kaito felt his spirit grow lighter, free from the burdens that once weighed him down. The days grew cooler, and dry leaves covered the temple grounds like a golden carpet. Kaito was beginning to understand that the true teaching lay in simplicity, in the act of letting go of resistance and allowing life to flow naturally. One afternoon, while helping prepare the tea ceremony, Kaito noticed the calm with which Master Ryu moved, each gesture part of a silent, harmonious dance. The master said, "Life is like this ceremony, Kaito. It's not about forcing or rushing anything. Every movement, every breath, is an opportunity to let it be easy." Kaito recalled the inner struggles that had once weighed on him, and he smiled to himself. He realized that the path was not found in hardness or resistance, but in softness, in conscious surrender. From that day on, every action became a practice of letting things be easy. Walking, speaking, breathing. The young monk no longer saw life as a battle, but as a river inviting him to flow. And in that acceptance, he discovered a deep peace, a sense of rest in the midst of life's constant motion. The air had turned crisp, and snow had begun to blanket the mountain peaks with its silent, white embrace. Kaito sat quietly by the fire in the small room of the temple, watching the flames dance with a warm, inviting glow. He reflected on all he had learned in recent months, how struggle had softened into surrender, how anxiety had transformed into trust, and how his restless mind had finally found stillness. He realized that letting it be easy didn't mean life would always be simple or free of challenges. Rather, it meant welcoming those challenges with softness, without adding the extra weight of resistance or fear. Life, he thought, is like fire, alive, ever-changing, sometimes intense, sometimes calm. And in that inner fire, he discovered a quiet space of freedom and peace. Master Ryu sat beside him, and in the silence they shared, both knew that Kaito had truly found the path. Letting it be easy was not an escape, it was true strength. A deep breath escaped his chest as snow continued to fall outside, softly, unhurried. Kaito closed his eyes, and for the first time, he simply let everything be easy.